G'day folks, welcome to the very first episode of Bandaged Cube Creations. Today we're looking at the block built cube. Now this was invented by Huador. This is probably on the easier end of puzzles, and I'm deliberately starting with this because I don't want to scare anyone off, but I'm looking forward to it. Now, as to why it's called that, I'll offer my opinion in a minute, but let's get to what it actually is. The first thing, we've got a slice here between the red and the green faces, so just those two little parts there. We've also got a clock appearing on the white face, so down to down left, and we've got a pair in this front down to front down left position. That's the only three bandaged parts. Now I think the reason it's probably called a block built cube is because if you turn it around like this, and I noticed that pretty much as soon as I looked at it, it's kind of like, you've got a fuse block. And perhaps that was the intention there. So as to scrambling it, I mean, it's probably as easy as anything else to move those around to there and then just start going mad. You know, because you can move quite a lot of faces here, and just it doesn't take too long for things to get as nicely scrambled as you'd like them to be. Just remembering to include all the faces, because you're really scrambling everything here except for that block. So let me just do that a little bit more. Obviously for these purposes it's not essential to get it absolutely perfectly scrambled. We just want to make sure that most stuff is well scrambled. That looks decent-ish enough. And at that point, I would then just say, right, let's separate some of these things. There's really nothing you can do with that. That's just kind of hooked in place. So it's, and the clock as well, all that can do is turn around. That can't move anywhere. So it's kind of like, well, I can move that clock there, and I can turn this one around, and perhaps I can do that. And, you know, what else can I do, really? Not a whole lot. I'm sort of back to this region. Maybe I'll turn it there. So after a little while, you kind of go, well, that's probably about it. So I can see a few bits here that I'm not totally happy with in terms of the scrambling. So I might just, can I deal with them quickly? Pretty much that yellow orange, I wouldn't mind just sort of flipping that over a little bit, which I have. So all edges can be flipped here, all corners can be twisted, all pieces can be separated. And as per usual through this series, I'm going to try and use the minimal algorithms and the minimal number of algorithms that I need to get it done. So what that means is in this one, I could use Sune, but I'm not going to because I don't need to. I'm going to use as little as I can. Not interested in speed solving this stuff. I'm interested in solving it carefully and logically, and hopefully, I guess, in a manner that people that are like me, who are losing their memory and their mind, can still do. So let's go. How I would solve it would be to identify that slice and say that isn't moving. And in the same way that we scrambled it, it would be good to make a little fuse block here just to keep it out of the way. So I can see that that white orange can kind of turn in, but it needs the pair next to it. So I will do something to make that happen. Is that the right one? No, not quite. Can we do that? No. Even doing this, you still have to sort of think, that's what I've got to do. Okay. All right. So they are together. Now, they're not correctly together yet, and so it wouldn't be a bad idea to see if that can happen, because what we notice is that that's the red and the green center. These are going to go over to, let's have a look, actually 2 turns away. So they've got to match up properly if they're going to be 2 turns away. So the other option is, let's have a look, that's clearly the white orange which is there, which means that piece has got to come over here by the look of it, white, blue, orange. So I would then go, let's put that into place straight away, and I'll probably just go and use the yellow face to sort of turn it around a little bit. Now I reckon that's going to have to go like that. In a sense, this is sort of flipped, which is why at the moment I'm bringing it down like that. it's not oriented correctly. So what I would then do would be something like, I would normally turn it up, but I can't because of that slice. So perhaps I'd do it a different, I'll probably just turn that out of the way for a moment. Perhaps turn it up like that. Okay, put that clock back in. Is that what I want? I think it is, because now that it's on that face, I can turn it around to there. And what you'll notice is that the white orange is matched with the orange center. That blue is matched with that blue center. And that looks actually pretty good. That's its position. That's its final position. But if I left it there and tried to solve it, I'm quite restricted. So what I'm trying to do here is just, as I said, 2 turns around to there. Now I've got myself a fuse block, and I can treat the rest of the puzzle as a fuse cube. The difference is it's a little tricky with the colors, because normally with a fuse block, that's all red, that's all green, that's all white. But we've got blues and oranges here as well. So all that I have to do initially, the only parts that are sort of problematic are these lower layer parts. So I would think, okay, when it's in its position, that edge there is supposed to be a white red. So I will turn that around and say that blue orange needs to become white red. And I can see there's a white red edge here. So I would turn that up to the yellow face, turn it like that, turn it on. Every time I do this, I'm turning it back just to double check. That looks pretty good. This one's supposed to be white green. You can see it's there, but it's flipped. So let's bring that around, turn it up, and perhaps we can flip it essentially by doing that, moving it into position. So the white red and the white green are now good. And when we turn them back, we can see that's looking quite good indeed. That's good that that's in. It might come out in a minute, but I'm going to deal with the rest of the edges now. So put that fuse block in place. I've got the blue red, I've got the green orange, and I've got this one that I'll do later. And remembering that these two are done, even though they don't look like it. So let's find the blue red. It's up here, and it's got to go down into this position. Now I can't just turn it down because I'll dislodge that green white. So instead of that, I'd probably just turn it off, position up. All really simple moves, and that's what I was talking about earlier. The green orange has got to go there, so I'll put that up to the top. And again, is it oriented correctly? Well, at the moment, if I did that, it's not. So I just need to flip it, and I can do that sort of in the central bit here. Flip it over on the top face. Now that's ready to go. And again, I can just sort of turn it off, bring its position up, which is that, put it on and return. So that's done. Remembering, you turn that back like that, they look good and they look good as well. Okay, so then we've got this middle layer edge and 4 top yellows. So let's start getting some top yellows. I can put the yellow red into position. I'll put the yellow green down into the middle, and then that's got to go to that position there. So just like, I guess, a normal Rubik's Cube solve. The yellow blue is heading there. The blue orange is heading here. The orange yellow is heading here. Well, this is one of those situations where they're all sort of reversed. And so you want to do just an edge piece series to take them in the opposite direction. So yellow blue goes there, blue orange there. I don't want to go that direction. I want to go that direction, if you like. And what that will do will give us a nice 3 cycle where you can see 2 of them look correct and the third one looks dodgy. That's exactly what we need. So we can cycle them home. We could, of course, get 2 swapped edges. So we might end up, as any other normal 3x3 solve, the same sort of thing. Turn that yellow face 1 turn and resolve. No issues there. Okay, so the edges are all done. Again, when I come to solve it, I now want to think about the corners that I'm trying to place down this bottom layer. So, for example, because I'm dealing with sort of a fuse cube, I do have these 3 faces to turn. I want to think, the first one that I might look to solve is this one here. What is that corner? So if I put it back here, I can see, oh, that's white, red, blue. Okay, it's got to go in that position. So I would then grab that white, red, blue over there. And there's a few ways you could approach it. One way is to just turn that temporarily and do 3 up, up, down, downs, which will swap these 2 pieces. No harm in doing that. It's simple and it's done. And that's where it should be. We put the edges back there. And again, when we go and look at it, we can see, yep, that is in position, even though it needs to be twisted. Now, what else have we got? That's another one there. That's supposed to be white, green, orange. So if we bring that one, if we turn the 2 turns and I say I've got to put a white, green, orange there, it's sitting up here. So again, I can do something similar where I either want to have the 2 pieces here now or here. I don't want to do up, up, down, downs because it'll disturb that. I'm going to do down, down, up, ups. So I just got to work out how do I get these in a good place. And I can turn the upper face to put that there and then turn this face to put that up there as a setup. And that'll swap those 2, put that one in position. 3 down, down, up, ups. Okay, that's all done. Put that one back, return the upper face, and that is good, and that is good. And again, you turn it round. Yep, you can see that they look good. So this is the last one here. From now, what I can do is something a little bit simpler than that, because I can just, because I've got the usage of these faces and the upper face here, I can go ahead and do the following. Yellow, red, blue, where does that belong? That position. So I'll turn that upper face and just do up, up, down, downs until it is correctly placed and oriented. In this case, it takes 3 of them. That's done. Turn that back. What's down here now? Yellow, orange, blue. That goes into that position. So up, up, down, down. That's done. That's a yellow, orange, green. We'll turn its position around and do an up, up, down, down. That's done. Now we've got a yellow, red, green. That goes at the back. So I'll bring that to the front. Up, up, down, downs until that is done. That is done. Return that upper face. Clearly this is all out, so we're just going to keep doing this until the edges and corners come back to where they should be, which is slightly tricky here because of the colors. So I think that is where everything should be, and I'm just going to check by turning it around and seeing if it all matches, and it does. Okay, so we're good. Now, the last stage here is to do some corner orienting, and again, we don't need to use Sune. We just need 3 faces that I can turn all of the faces, and I've got at least 3 on this face which I can deal with. So this one has to turn this way. This one has to turn anti-clockwise, you can see, so that matches up. So these 2 are a good couple of candidates. So 2 edge piece series to deal with that one. Then I'll turn that into its position and do the opposite way. And they are twisted. These, of course, I'm not going over them because they're all very, very standard techniques in the way that I solve a puzzle. And I suppose if you've been watching more than 1 or 2 videos of mine, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. We've got 2 left. Again, I just want to get them so that they're into a position. It's a little trickier here because they're the 2 that are next to the fuse block. So I'm just going to have to do a couple of setups first. I remember that the red, white, blue has to go clockwise. So if I did something like a front face and a right prime, there, in fact, I'd probably want a front face and a right too. There we go. This one's got to go anti-clockwise, and then I'll replace it with that there. That's done. Turn it in. Undo. Now what did I have? 2 right face turns. I had that front face turn. And now finally, when we reposition things to where they should be, we are done and dusted. So nice little intro puzzle. I hope that was good. And that is the, what did I say it was? The block built cube. This is the puzzle for the next episode. It is the detour, or the detour cube. And when you have a play with it, you'll probably see why. You might find yourself having to make a few detours here and there. And what does this have on it? Well, it's got a slice in the red-white position. It has a clock, the green-red. And it has another clock over on the orange to the orange-white. And then it's got some pairs. So it's got a green-orange-white pair here. It's got a white-blue-orange pair here. Is that all? I think that is it. So if I'm holding it with this color scheme here, the yellow face is completely free. We've got a clock front to front right. We've got a slice right to down. We've got a clock left to left down. And then we've got this pair, which is front down to front down left. And we've got another pair, if I turn it around like that, at left back to left back down. So they are the pieces that we need for this next puzzle, which, as I said, is called Detour.